You may think you know what happens after death, but the truth I witnessed completely changed my view of Islam. In the stillness of the early morning, when the world was still asleep and dreams danced in the minds of the slumbering, Sophia opened her eyes. The room was bathed in a soft twilight, illuminated only by the faint glow of the moon seeping through the cracks in the curtain. She blinked once, twice, 3 times, trying to shake off the sleep that still weighed on her eyelids. Something was different. It wasn't just the unusual silence that hung in the air, but a strange feeling lodged in her chest, as if the universe had changed while she slept. Sophia sat up in bed, her long brown hair cascading over her shoulders. Her fingers brushed against the silk sheet, a gift from her grandmother, and she wondered why this familiar touch now felt so strange. It was as if her skin had become more sensitive during the night, each fiber of the fabric sending waves of sensation through her nerves. She looked at the digital clock on the bedside table. The red numbers blinked 3:27 in the morning. Sophia frowned. She never woke up in the middle of the night, not since she was a child having nightmares about monsters under the bed. But now, at 28, what could have disturbed her sleep? It was then she noticed the silence. It wasn't just the absence of the usual nighttime sounds, the distant hum of cars, the occasional bark of a dog, the soft purr of the air conditioner. It was an absolute silence, as if the very air had stopped vibrating. With her heart racing, Sophia got out of bed. Her bare feet touched the cold floor, sending a shiver down her spine. She walked to the window, pulled back the curtain, and looked outside. The street was deserted, bathed in the silver light of the full moon. The trees were still, not a leaf stirred. It was as if time had frozen. Sophia felt a knot form in her throat. Something was wrong, very wrong. She turned to wake her husband, Lucas, but stopped abruptly. The bed was empty. His side was untouched, as if he had never gone to sleep. "Lucas!" she called, her voice breaking the oppressive silence. There was no response. With trembling hands, Sophia grabbed her phone. The screen remained dark. No matter how many times she pressed the power button, it was completely out of battery, something impossible considering she had charged it before bed. A cold fear began to spread through her body. She left the bedroom, her steps echoing strangely in the empty hallway. "Lucas!" she called again, louder this time. Her voice sounded strange in her own ears, as if she were speaking underwater. The living room was exactly as she remembered leaving it the night before. The book she had been reading was still open on the couch, the half-full glass of wine on the coffee table. But there was something off. The colors seemed more vivid, almost painfully bright in the moonlight streaming through the windows. Sophia approached the front door, her heart pounding against her ribs. She turned the handle, feeling each click of the mechanism as if it were amplified 1,000 times. The door opened without a sound. The world outside was a vision of surreal beauty and terror. The night sky was filled with stars, more than Sophia had ever seen, even on the clearest nights. The moon seemed larger, closer, almost within reach, and on the horizon, an aurora borealis danced in impossible colors, shades of green, purple, and blue that seemed to pulse with a life of their own. Sophia stepped outside, her bare feet touching the cool grass. The air was still, neither warm nor cold, as if the atmosphere itself had ceased to exist. She looked down the street, at the houses of her neighbors. All the windows were dark. There was no sign of life anywhere. Then she heard it. A whisper, so faint it could have been just her imagination. But it was there, growing slowly, as if it came from everywhere at once. Words in a language she did not know but somehow understood deep within her. "Are you ready?" the voice said. "The journey begins now." Sophia felt the world spin around her. The stars seemed to move, forming impossible patterns in the sky. The aurora borealis intensified, its colors spreading across the sky like ink in water. And then, before her astonished eyes, the sky opened. A brilliant light, brighter than 1,000 suns, flooded the world. Sophia raised her hands to shield her eyes, but found she could look directly at the light without pain. It was as if her eyes had been made to see this, for this moment. And then, she understood. This was not the end of something, but the beginning. The start of a journey that would not only change her life, but the very nature of reality as she knew it. With her heart filled with a mix of fear and excitement, Sophia took a step toward the light. The world around her began to dissolve. The houses, the trees, everything transforming into particles of light that danced in the air. She felt her own body start to change, becoming lighter, more ethereal. As the last vestiges of the world she knew disappeared, Sophia closed her eyes and surrendered to the unknown. The journey had begun. When Sophia opened her eyes again, the world around her had completely transformed. She found herself floating in a vast space that defied comprehension. There was no ground beneath her feet, no sky above her head. Instead, she was suspended in an ocean of constantly shifting colors, undulating and flowing as if they were alive. Sophia looked at her hands, expecting to see her familiar skin, but was shocked to realize that her body was now composed of pure light, shimmering in shades of blue and silver. She could feel every particle of her being vibrating in harmony with the environment around her. "Welcome, Sophia," a voice resonated, coming from everywhere and nowhere at once. It was the same voice she had heard before, but now it was clearer, more present. "Where am I?" Sophia asked, surprised to find that her voice sounded like music, each word a note in a cosmic symphony. "You are in the realm between worlds," the voice replied, "a place where reality and dream meet, where the possible and impossible dance together." Suddenly, a figure began to materialize in front of Sophia. It was a being of light, like her, but much older and more powerful. Its form constantly shifted, sometimes appearing human, other times taking shapes Sophia could not comprehend. "I am Aeon," the being said, "guardian of this realm and your guide on this journey." Sophia felt a wave of emotions wash over her, fear, awe, curiosity. "Why am I here?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. Aeon smiled, a gesture Sophia felt more than saw. "You have been chosen, Sophia. Among billions of souls, you possess a unique quality, a spark of potential that can change the fate of worlds." Aeon's words weighed heavily on Sophia. She, an ordinary woman from a small town, chosen for something so grand? It seemed impossible. "I don't understand," she said. "What can I do that is so important?" Aeon extended a hand, and the space around them transformed. Sophia saw images of worlds passing before her eyes, some familiar, others completely alien. She saw civilizations being born and dying, universes expanding and contracting. "The multiverse is in danger," Aeon explained. "An ancient darkness is awakening, threatening to swallow everything that exists. You, Sophia, have the power to stop it." Sophia felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. "But how? I'm just one person. What can I do against something so vast and powerful?" Aeon moved closer, radiating warmth and comfort. "You possess something the darkness cannot comprehend or defeat, the ability to love unconditionally, to see beauty in even the simplest things, to find hope even in the darkest moments." With a gesture, Aeon conjured a small sphere of light between them. Inside it, Sophia saw reflections of her life, moments of joy, of sorrow, of triumph and defeat. "Every experience you've lived, every choice you've made, every person you've loved, all of it has shaped you for this moment," Aeon continued. "Your journey is just beginning, Sophia. You will have to travel through different realities, face challenges that will test not only your strength, but your compassion and wisdom." Sophia looked into the sphere, seeing the faces of her loved ones, Lucas, her parents, her friends. And what about them? "How long will I be gone?" Aeon made a gentle gesture, and the images in the sphere changed, showing the world Sophia had left behind. Everything was frozen in time, exactly as she had left it. "Time flows differently here," Aeon explained. "When your journey ends, you can return to the exact moment you left if you so choose." Sophia felt a mixture of relief and apprehension. The idea of embarking on a cosmic journey was terrifying, but knowing she could return to her normal life offered some comfort. "What should I do now?" she asked, her voice firmer, more resolute. Aeon smiled again, and this time Sophia could see it clearly. It was a smile full of pride and hope. "Now you learn, you grow, you prepare for the challenges to come." With a fluid motion, Aeon extended both hands. The space around them expanded, revealing portals that led to different worlds and realities. Each portal is a lesson, an experience that will strengthen your soul and expand your understanding of the universe, Aeon explained. "You will have to face your deepest fears, question your most ingrained beliefs, and, above all, learn to trust your heart." Sophia looked at the portals, each one pulsing with energy and promising adventures beyond imagination. She felt fear, yes, but also a growing excitement. This was a unique opportunity, a chance to make a difference on a scale she had never dreamed was possible. "I'm ready," she said, her voice echoing with newfound determination. Aeon nodded solemnly. "Remember, Sophia, in every world you visit, in every challenge you face, you are never truly alone. The light you carry within is stronger than any darkness you may encounter." With those words, Aeon began to dissolve, becoming part of the very fabric of the realm between worlds. Sophia found herself alone before the portals, each calling to her in a different way. Taking a deep breath, she stepped forward. It was time to begin her journey, to discover the true extent of her potential, and perhaps save not just her world, but all worlds. With one last glance back at the vast and beautiful realm between worlds, Sophia stepped through the first portal. A new adventure was about to begin, and with it, the fate of countless realities would be decided. The portal closed behind her with a whisper, and she found herself immersed in an almost palpable darkness. The air was thick, carrying a sharp, acrid scent that made her eyes water. Slowly, her vision adjusted, and she began to discern shapes in the dim light. She was in a city, or what remained of one. Tall, twisted buildings stretched toward a starless sky, their shattered windows like empty eyes watching a world abandoned. The streets were covered in a thick mist that snaked between the rubble, concealing unknown dangers. Sophia took a step forward. The sound of broken glass crunching underfoot echoed disturbingly loud in the sepulchral silence. She froze, her heart pounding against her ribs. Something moved in the shadows, too fast for her eyes to catch. "Hello," she called, her voice trembling slightly. There was no response, only the distorted echo of her own voice returning to her. A cold wind blew, carrying whispers of distant voices. Sophia wrapped her arms around herself, feeling the chill penetrate to her bones. It was then she realized her body was no longer made of light. She had returned to her physical form, vulnerable and fragile in this hostile world. "Aeon," she called softly, hoping the guardian could hear her. But deep down, she knew she was alone here. This was her trial, her first challenge. With a shaky breath, Sophia began to walk. Her footsteps echoed in the empty streets, each sound amplified by the oppressive silence. As she moved forward, she started to notice disturbing details. Deep scratch marks on the walls of buildings, dark stains on the asphalt that looked disturbingly like dried blood. Fear threatened to paralyze her, but Sophia forced herself to keep going. "There's a reason I'm here," she murmured to herself, her voice a mantra against the rising terror. "There's something I need to learn, something I need to do." Suddenly, a scream pierced the air, making Sophia jump. It was a sound of pure desperation, coming from somewhere ahead. Without thinking, she began to run toward the scream. Her heart pounded in her ears, but she couldn't ignore someone in danger. Rounding a corner, Sophia came upon a scene that made her stop abruptly. In the middle of the street, illuminated by a single working streetlight, was a hunched figure. It was a woman, or something that had once been a woman. Her skin was gray and marked with dark veins, her eyes completely black and devoid of any humanity. The creature turned to Sophia, her movements erratic and inhuman. A low growl escaped her throat, and she began to move toward Sophia. Sophia's breath caught in her throat, her body frozen with fear. But as the creature advanced, something deep within Sophia stirred. A spark of light, a reminder of who she truly was. This was her test, her first battle, and she could not fail. Sophia's instinct screamed for her to run, to flee from this obvious danger, but something kept her in place. As she looked into the creature's hollow eyes, she saw something more, a flicker of pain, of fear, of humanity. "I won't hurt you," Sophia said softly, extending a trembling hand. "I'm here to help." The creature stopped, tilting its head as if confused. For a moment, Sophia thought she saw a spark of recognition in those dark, empty eyes, and then Sophia understood. This world, this city of eternal shadows, was not just a place of horror and darkness. It was a place of lost souls, of people transformed by pain and fear into something unrecognizable, even to themselves. Tears filled Sophia's eyes as she took a step forward. "You're not alone," she said, her voice filled with compassion. "I see you. I see your pain." The creature trembled, a guttural sound escaping its throat. Slowly, painfully, it extended a deformed hand toward Sophia. In that moment, something awoke inside her. It was as if an inner light, one she had always possessed but never known how to use, began to glow. She closed her eyes, focusing on this sensation, this warmth spreading throughout her body. When Sophia opened her eyes again, her hands were glowing with a soft golden light. Without hesitation, she reached out and touched the creature's outstretched hand. The effect was immediate. The light spread over the creature, enveloping it in a golden cocoon. Sophia watched in awe as the transformation unfolded. The gray skin began to regain color, the dark veins vanished, and the eyes became human again, filled with confusion and gratitude. As the light faded, a woman stood before Sophia, trembling and disoriented, but undeniably human. Thank you," the woman whispered, her voice hoarse from disuse. Sophia smiled, feeling a wave of relief and joy wash over her. "What's your name?" she asked gently. "Elena," the woman replied, tears streaming down her face. I was lost for so long." Sophia embraced Elena, feeling the warmth of her body, the solidity of her restored human form. "You're safe now," she murmured. "You found your way back." As she held Elena, Sophia glanced around. The city was still dark, still in ruins, but something had changed. There was a sense of hope in the air, and Sophia knew, with a certainty that came from deep within her soul, that her journey in this world had only just begun. She had a gift, a power to heal and restore. And in this world of eternal shadows, there were countless lost souls waiting to be found, waiting to be reminded of their own humanity. With Elena by her side, Sophia took the first step on her new mission. The darkness was still vast, but now she carried the light within her. And that light, she knew, was stronger than any shadow. In the days that followed, Sophia and Elena traversed the shadowed streets of the ruined city. With each step, they faced new challenges and discovered more about the world they had fallen into. Elena, still weak from her transformation, shared what she knew. "This place wasn't always like this," she explained, her voice still raspy. "It used to be a vibrant city, full of life and color. But then, the shadow came." Sophia listened carefully as they walked, her eyes constantly scanning the streets for movement. "The shadow?" she asked. Elena visibly shuddered. "No one knows exactly what it is. It started as a whisper, a fear that spread from person to person. Slowly, it consumed everything: hope, joy, love. People began to change, to become like I was." Sophia felt a lump form in her throat. The magnitude of the challenge she faced was beginning to dawn on her. It wasn't just about healing individuals. It was about saving an entire city, perhaps an entire world, from a force she barely understood. As she pondered this, a sound caught her attention. It was faint, almost imperceptible, but unmistakable. The cry of a child. "Did you hear that?" Sophia asked, stopping abruptly. Elena nodded, her eyes wide with fear. "Yes, but, Sophia, we have to be careful. Not everything that seems innocent in this world truly is." Despite the warning, Sophia couldn't ignore the sound. Following the cry, she and Elena ventured into a dark alley. At the far end, huddled against the wall, was a small figure. Sophia approached slowly, her heart breaking at the sight. It was a little girl, no older than 6 or 7, her body trembling with fear and cold. Like Elena had once been, the child was partially transformed, her pale skin marked by dark veins, her large eyes entirely black. "Hello?" Sophia said softly, kneeling at a safe distance. "Don't be afraid. We're here to help." The girl looked up, her black eyes fixed on Sophia. For a moment, there was only silence. Then, in a movement too quick for the eye to catch, the child lunged forward. Her hands transformed into sharp claws. Sophia fell back, shocked by the sudden aggression. Elena screamed a warning, but before the child could reach Sophia, something extraordinary happened. The light within Sophia, the same light she had used to heal Elena, burst out involuntarily. A golden shield formed around her, stopping the child's attack. The girl collided with the shield and was thrown back, hitting the ground with a dull thud. For a moment, she lay still, and Sophia feared she had hurt the child. But then, slowly, the girl sat up, blinking in confusion. The light had done more than just protect Sophia. Where it had touched the child, the transformation had begun to reverse. The darkness in her eyes started to retreat, revealing irises of deep blue. What's happening to me?" the girl asked, her voice trembling with fear and confusion. Sophia approached carefully, her heart overflowing with compassion. "It's all right," she said gently. "You're becoming yourself again. What's your name, sweetie?" "Lily," the girl replied, tears streaming down her now almost completely restored face. Sophia opened her arms, and Lily didn't hesitate to fling herself into them, sobbing against Sophia's chest. As she held her, Sophia felt the light within her flow softly, completing Lily's healing. Elena watched the scene with tear-filled eyes. "It's incredible," she whispered. "You don't just heal the body, you heal the soul too." Sophia looked at Elena, then back at Lily in her arms. "I think I'm beginning to understand why I was sent here," she said. "It's not just about healing individuals. It's about restoring hope, love, and the connection between people." At that moment, as if responding to Sophia's words, something shifted in the atmosphere of the city. The air seemed lighter, the darkness a little less oppressive. In the sky, for the first time since Sophia had arrived, a small opening appeared in the clouds, allowing a single ray of sunlight to pierce through the perpetual gloom. Sophia, Elena, and Lily stared in awe at that single beam of natural light. It was as if the world itself was responding to the change, to the healing that was beginning to take place. "This is only the beginning, isn't it?" Elena asked, a note of hope in her voice. Sophia nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility, but also a growing sense of determination. "Yes," she replied. "We have a long way to go, but now I know it's possible. We can bring the light back to this world, one person at a time if we have to." As they stood, preparing to continue their journey through the city of lost souls, Sophia felt a shift within herself. The fear and uncertainty were still there, but they were now outweighed by something stronger. Purpose. She had found her mission in this dark world, and she wouldn't rest until she saw the light of hope shine again in every face, in every street, in every corner of this forgotten city. With Lily safe in her arms and Elena by her side, Sophia took the first step into the unknown. The journey would be long and dangerous, but she was ready. For now, she knew. True strength wasn't just in healing, but in believing, in loving, and in never giving up, no matter how dark the night seemed. Days turned into weeks as Sophia, Elena, and Lily roamed the shadowy streets of the city. With each step, they faced new challenges but also found small victories. Every person healed, every smile restored, was a beacon of hope in the lingering darkness. Sophia discovered that her healing power was growing. What once required physical contact and intense concentration could now be done from a distance, with a simple gesture. The light within her seemed to strengthen with each act of compassion, with every life touched. One night, as they rested in an improvised shelter, Elena shared some crucial information. "There are rumors," she said in a low voice, "about a place in the center of the city. They say that's where the shadow is strongest, most concentrated. Some believe it's the source of all this darkness." Lily, who was nestled against Sophia, looked up with fear in her eyes. "Is it true there are monsters there?" Sophia gently stroked the girl's hair. "There are no monsters, dear. Just lost people who need help finding their way back." But as she said these comforting words, Sophia exchanged a significant look with Elena. Both knew that if there was a core to all this darkness, it would be there that they would face their greatest challenge. The next morning, they set off toward the center of the city. As they progressed, the atmosphere grew heavier, the darkness denser. The streets were filled with shadowy figures, lost souls wandering aimlessly. Sophia worked tirelessly, healing as many as she could. But for every person she helped, there seemed to be dozens more in need. It was an overwhelming task, and for the first time since she had arrived in this world, Sophia felt the weight of doubt. "How can I save all of them?" she murmured to herself, exhausted after yet another day of relentless healing. It was Elena who responded, placing a comforting hand on Sophia's shoulder. "You don't need to save everyone at once. Each person you help is a victory. And each one of those people can, in turn, help others." Elena's words sparked an idea in Sophia. She turned to the people she had recently healed, a group of about 20 individuals who were following them for protection and guidance. "You've all passed through the darkness and found the light again," Sophia said, her voice filled with emotion. "Now, I ask you to be that light for others. Help us find more people, heal them, and restore hope in this city." The group nodded, determination shining in their newly healed eyes. With this new strategy, Sophia's efforts multiplied. The light spread through the city like a controlled fire, consuming the darkness in its path. But as they approached the center of the city, the resistance grew stronger. The lost souls here were more aggressive, more deeply transformed by the shadow. Sophia and her group faced fierce attacks, having to use both compassion and strength to defend themselves and heal. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of struggle, they reached the heart of the city. Before them stood an imposing building, an old town hall now corrupted by darkness. Shadows danced in its windows, and a black miasma seemed to emanate from its walls. "This is it," Elena whispered, her voice trembling. "The source of everything." Sophia looked at the building, feeling the weight of the challenge that awaited her. She knew instinctively that whatever was inside would be the ultimate test of everything she had learned and become in this world. "I need to go in," Sophia said, her voice steady despite the fear she felt. "Alone." Elena and Lily immediately protested, but Sophia silenced them with a gentle, yet determined, "Look. But you two, along with the others, are the last line of defense," she explained. If I fail, you need to continue the work, keep spreading the light." With tears in their eyes, Elena and Lily embraced Sophia. "Come back to us," Lily whispered. Sophia smiled, gently caressing the girl's face. "I will. I promise." With one last look at her group, the people who had become her family in this strange world, Sophia turned and walked toward the building. With each step, she felt the darkness pressing against her, trying to suffocate her. But Sophia did not waver. She had come too far, helped too many people, to give up now. With determination burning in her eyes, she pushed open the heavy doors of the town hall and stepped into the absolute darkness. The true test was about to begin. and Sophia knew that the fate of not only this world, but potentially all worlds, depended on what would happen next. And so, Sophia faces her greatest challenge, stepping into the darkness to save an entire world. But her journey doesn't end here. If you want to find out what happens next, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Your interaction helps us continue bringing emotional stories like this one. Share in the comments what you thought of Sophia's journey so far and your theories about what awaits her inside the dark building. Remember, just like Sophia, every action you take makes a difference. See you in the next episode.